Hades is not the Greek version of the devil. Welcome back to Mythology Monday. Today we are going to be focusing on Hades, king of the underworld, and one of the most misunderstood gods in Greek mythology. First, Hades is not the Greek version of the devil. That is a really big misconception. A lot of people believe because he is king of the underworld that he is their version of the devil, and that's actually not true. In Greek mythology, a lot of different hands are involved in death. You've got Thanatos, who is the actual representation of peaceful death. You have the sisters, the Fates. Clotho is the one who weaves or spins the thread. Then you've got Lachesis. She's the one who measures how long their thread of life is going to be. And then you have Atropos. She's the one who actually cuts the thread and determines when that person's life is over. Hades isn't the one collecting souls either. That role actually falls to Hermes. He is actually considered a psychopomp. He's the one who guides the souls into the underworld. Now, once they reach the gates of the underworld, Charon is actually the ferryman who takes them across. Now, fun fact about Greek burial tradition, anyone who passed on was supposed to be buried with a coin. This was called Charon's obol, and what that did was it secured them passage on the ferry. So if they were not buried with a coin, they actually were like just stranded on the banks of the underworld. So in all actuality, Hades is truly just the ruler of the underworld. He doesn't collect the souls, he doesn't ferry them across, and he doesn't decide when someone dies. Hades is a child of both Kronos and Rhea, who are titans. His siblings would be Zeus, Poseidon, Hesta, and then Demeter. Now, when the Titans were defeated, Zeus was granted the realm of the sky, Poseidon the sea, and then Hades was left with the underworld, which is part of why he is villainized. We even see that in Disney's Hercules, where he's just kind of considered the bad guy because he rules the place that everyone fears the most, which is the underworld. Everyone is afraid to die, and so by proxy, he's just kind of considered this evil person. It's just really interesting that he kind of becomes the villain when Zeus and Poseidon have way more problematic myths associated with them, and Zeus is almost kind of put on this pedestal of like being the golden god, and that's just really not factual when you actually get into the myths about it. Now, it's not to say that Hades is not unproblematic. Obviously, there is a version of the myth of him and Persephone that does not paint him in a very flattering light. I'll be honest about that. But then there's other versions where it was an arranged marriage. But when we look at them all together, he's really, truly the most unproblematic, making him one of the most misunderstood gods or goddesses in the Greek mythology. Now, in modern retellings, Hades has had a major come up in popularity where people have loved to fantasize about him, specifically the retellings of him and Persephone. And they kind of paint him as this like dark and brooding, morally gray, misunderstood character. I would love to know what you think about Hades, his modern retellings, also some of like his original myths. Make sure to drop it below. I would love to discuss. And then who should we do next? I'm thinking Demeter, maybe Aphrodite. Drop a comment below. Let me know.